Hey everybody, happy Friday. Welcome back to the channel and the kitchen. This is a repeat recipe actually, because this is one of our favorites to make. We're going to be making okonomiyaki with some green cabbage today. So if you missed it the last time, you can catch it this time. And we make this quite often actually. We've had it a couple times in between live streams. It's one of our favorites. It's super easy to make. Um, and It's a good Friday meal. It's not too heavy. It'd be nice to kind of sit outside. It's finally gotten a bit better, and the weather's cleared up today. So let's get cooking. Let's see who's here today. I think we've got quite a few people here. So thanks for joining me, everybody. Us and more, welcome. They were the first ones here. Mike's here. Hey, Mike. And oh, Connie, welcome back. There we are. And let's see who else is here. Mike's here. Hello, Mike. Freddie's here. Happy Friday. It is Friday. It feels like a Friday today too, for some reason. And Nadia's here. Hey, Nadia. Hopefully everybody's watching there. And who else is left? Oh, we got Christine is here. Hey, Christine. I heard Christine has got some new Amazon toys for her YouTube channel. So we'll have to keep an eye on that, Christine. Making me step it up maybe now too. Again, we're in this competition together for our channel, so we'll see what you've got up your sleeve. That's too good, too fun. And let's see who is left here. We've got us and more. Oh, us and more. Thanks for the pick. I think that was the beginning pick you saw, hopefully. And Jane Ann Travels, welcome. Yeah. So let's get started here. Good evening. I don't know what time zone you're in. It's 5 o'clock here, so it's the start of dinner time. So we'll get started. So this one's simple. We've done it before. If you're wanting to follow along, I don't think anybody's following along today or not, but if you want to follow along, all the ingredients to all of the live stream recipes are always down below in the description. And for the most part, you'll have a description of the steps to follow. So if you want to come back to the video, you'll find it all there, and then you can just kind of fast forward through all the chit chat to the certain steps and to follow along. So we've got this is a green cabbage. This one's fairly large. We'll probably only use about half of this. And I just saw Pam jumped in. Hey, Pam. And we're in our Pam's here. We're in our. If you're in Alberta, you know that there's like this 50-50 frenzy going on for the hockey games, and we finally got our 50-50 tickets. They were all like, the servers and everything was so popular. Everything's like crashing, and you can't get tickets everywhere. So it's kind of funny. We've got our tickets. So anyways, okonomiyaki, green cabbage, pancakes, basically shredded. So we're going to shred these up, and we're going to use about half of this one, just because everybody's speaking Japanese, and I see in the comments coming up. It's going to make me laugh. That's good. Green cabbage. I've got some actually green onions this time too, so we'll garnish it with a little bit of green onions, and I'm going to cut up a little bit of green onions for inside as well. So that's going to be nice. And we'll put in about I've got 7 eggs here. Probably put them all in. Last time I had to add a bit more eggs, so I will put 6 for sure, because that's what the recipe calls for 4, but I find usually a little bit we need a little bit extra. So we got eggs if we need it, and the breadcrumbs that go inside are the Japanese breadcrumbs, so panko breadcrumbs. This is a big box, but you can see these. They have these in most grocery stores, so if you want to pick up the breadcrumbs for it. This is also great with other breading stuff, but it's just like a nice light, crispy breadcrumb for stuff. So there we go. So it's a matter of I'm going to cut up we'll do the and there you go, Christine. Yeah, arigato. We'll do the green onions, some green onions first. We don't need this. We don't need the whole bunch here. Let's see. Let me move this over so you can see it. There we go. A little bit better. Just gonna use a couple of the green onions. Maybe let's do 3. Just to cut up. This is gonna be mostly for garnish on top, but I'm going to put a little bit of some of the white parts. I'm gonna put that into the mix. So just trim off the end bits. That are dried out. And in the So we're gonna use the green. I'm gonna use the green part for the garnish. So these ones, we're just gonna slice them really kind of as thin as you can. And I guess the language today will be Japanese. So. So nice thin pieces of red onion into the bowl. And then for on top, we'll cut these on a little bias for the garnish ones. So I'll show this in the camera when I'm finished here. And we'll keep these just on the side. So what I'm doing, so you can see, this is just for the garnish on top. They're just done on a little bit of a bias, so you can, just looks nicer for garnish. We'll put that into a separate bowl for after. So how's everybody's week? It's Friday. Thanks for joining me on a Friday. I know the weather's getting nicer, so it's always nice to have people join me, because I know there's probably sometimes more exciting things to do if you're heading out for the weekend or something like that. And that's too funny, Nadia. No, I should invite Yoko. There's a Japanese girl that does live stream breakfast. But it comes on at nighttime here, and she does it on, I follow her YouTube as well, and she's got like a little kitchen set up like mine here, and she's called Yoko's Cafe. She's a singer from Japan, and so she has another channel, and she does cooking there, but she speaks really good English, so she, I think, uses her channel to learn English a little bit too. So she'll speak both English and Japanese, depending on who's commenting. So I'll watch it sometimes. She doesn't have like a regular schedule, I don't think. I just kind of see it pop up when she goes live. So with the green cabbage, you want to just take off the outer layer, because it's kind of the soggy kind of one. And then we're going to cut this into quarters, and we're going to do it on the mandolin, the super sharp one that is always, you got to be careful to use so yeah, Mike, you don't want to cut your fingers off with this. But the cabbage holds together pretty well, so you can actually do it. And you just have to be careful not to get your fingers too close to the blade. And then when you get to the closer, there's like a little guard. I sometimes find this more kind of dangerous than using the guard. Is when you get really small, you'll need it. And the pieces that come off, I'll just be cutting by hand. So when you get to the end part there, that's when the guard kind of comes in handy a bit more, so you don't totally cut your fingers. So we'll keep these bits. I'll cut those by hand, but this part I'll put in the bowl, and it just takes a nice shredded, like, it looks like coleslaw. And I know everybody's scared of the mandolin. The one thing about a mandolin, though, Nadia, is the blades. This is the thing if you ever cut you don't want to obviously try and cut yourself, but if you do ever cut yourself, you want to cut yourself on a blade that is sharp. It's not going to be. It's going to be the cut won't be as bad. It sounds kind of weird to say that, but because it's a cleaner cut, it's going to heal better than if you had a dull knife, because a dull knife is never good. So it looks pretty good. So I'm just going to cut up. I've got most of it done, but this extra stuff we'll just cut up nice and small by hand, just so we're not wasting anything. So you just have to kind of go through, and you want it fairly small as well. So you want to make sure that you're kind of cutting it as small as possible, so everything ends up being around relatively the same size. And I'm just gonna give that a chop. That's kind of some of the stem pieces. That's all in there. And the rest, like so. And yeah, so Connie, that's a good point. If you had a larger, like one of those food processors with the blade that spins, you could definitely do that in you could definitely do this in the food processor. It really, a lot of times with machines though, it depends what if it really makes things that easier. Because what I find with the machines a lot of times is it might chop things faster, but then it takes you twice as long to clean than it would actually be just to chop everything up. So sometimes it's easier just to do it by hand and spend a little bit more time on hand. Then all you have to clean up is really the cutting board and the knife. So that's kind of my theory, especially if you're only cooking. Like we're making this for 2 people, so there's not too much of chopping to do. So to open up and use a big food processor would take you longer. Sometimes it's just a pain to even clean the even just to clean all the mandolin part is kind of a pain, because you got to get all the little bits and pieces in there, and you want to do it before it dries and gets all hard on there. So because the little bits seem to stick everywhere in the blade, and that's where you have to be careful. Not so much cutting, but when you're trying to clean it, you're not necessarily paying as much attention. So that's where a food processor would be safer for sure if you have to clean it. But so there we are. So we'll just wipe that up. We got that. So I'm going to add to that. That's the cabbage and the green onion. I've got a little bit. I got a I've got to crack some pepper. So we'll crack some pepper for it. Let me put that. There we go. This is just black peppercorns. We're going to season it with. And I like just doing them fresh in the mortar and pestle, just to get, it's nice when you get them fresh cracked. Like so. So everything from scratch. If you're using pepper, it's always recommended to get peppercorns, because when you crush them, I also do them in obviously a pepper mill, but I find it just as easy to do that as I need it. And I like them a bit kind of chunkier than too fine. So we just got to mix that up, and we've got some pepper. So that will go in, not all of it. I just kind of always have a little dish of black pepper to add to our food. And last but not least, we're going to add some eggs. So I'll start with 6. 6 might be a bit much. Let's just see. Let's start with 5, because you can always add more egg if needed. 3, 4, 5. And to that, I'm going to whisk that up, and then I'm going to add the breadcrumbs after this. Oh, Connie, what do you do in the bullet? You do the you can do the peppercorns. Yeah, you can. You know what else works well is the like a coffee grinder for your spices and stuff. The only thing is you want to use a separate. You don't want to necessarily grind your coffee in the same machine because you'll ultimately get some spice flavor in there, and like pepper and coffee isn't necessarily the greatest thing. So I use the mortar pestle. I find it just as kind of easy, and so we'll use this is the panko, and I'll show you what this looks like. We're going to put a cup all together into this mix. And I'll show you before I put it in what these breadcrumbs kind of look like. So they're like really fine, kind of white breadcrumbs. No, like you know how when you get sometimes with breadcrumbs and it's got very dark color. These are just lighter. They're not. They're just. It's almost like it's just all like white bread without crust, basically. That is used to grind it, and that's the brand there, Panko. You'll see there's different sizes, but this is just a big bag. We use quite a bit of it, but you can get different sizes. So if you want to try the recipe out and not buy a huge box, you can get smaller sizes. It's not that expensive though. And then this works the best just to basically get your hands in it, mixing in the breadcrumbs. So the cup of breadcrumbs with all of the cabbage. And then we're going to add the eggs. And I might need to add more eggs, so I'll save that bowl. But what you want to do is just give it a quick mix, so everything, and it's not going to be, I'm going to definitely need a couple more eggs. You can see it's kind of it's not a batter, but it's kind of like a batter, I guess. It's going to be you want it a little bit moist, not too dry, because when we fry it, the egg's is kind of what holds it all together into a little pancake shape with the breadcrumbs. So you want it to be a little bit moist, but obviously not like runny, liquidy. But you do have to almost leave it sit for about 5 or 10 minutes for all of the eggs to kind of suck into the breadcrumbs, and everything kind of comes together and holds together better after it sits for a few minutes. So I'm actually just going to put in I've got 2 eggs left. I might as well just use them up, so we don't have just 2 eggs sitting in the fridge. So I'll just give those a whisk. And if I need to add a little bit more breadcrumb, I can after it sits. There we go. Now with okonomiyaki, you can make this a little bit ahead of time before you cook it for sure. It'll hold in the fridge. You wouldn't necessarily want to make it the day before. It's kind of nice if it sits too long. What happens is the cabbage will get soggy. So you could definitely make this in the morning and have it, but you don't want to have it sit overnight, especially with the eggs opened and raw in the fridge. You don't want to let it sit too long. So you can kind of see how it almost forms into a shape. It'll hold its shape. So this is perfect. So we'll let that sit before we fry it up. So there we go. And if you have any questions, I see some things going here. What's a good gluten-free option? Yeah, you know what? I think, can you not get, good question actually. I think you can, if you got like a gluten-free bread, is it a rice bread or something like that? You could definitely make your own bread. You could make your own breadcrumbs for this. Wouldn't be quite the same, but it would still work. So I would try that. A good thing with breadcrumbs is if you are gluten-free and you're buying gluten-free bread, is if you're saving the ends, after you buy your loaf of bread and have the little bits and pieces, put those in the freezer, and then make your breadcrumbs with the leftovers, and it'll be fine. I mean, if you use regular breadcrumbs, it won't be kind of as, it's weird. If you haven't had panko before, they're kind of hard to explain. They're definitely kind of like flakier and like very light breadcrumb. If you've had like I'm trying to think, like breaded, like in Japanese restaurant, like breaded prawns or something like that. Like a lot of times it's done in this kind of breading, like those coconut shrimp and stuff. That's like a panko. But you could use regular breadcrumbs for sure. I think that would work fine. But good question. And you might actually. Oh, there you go. Good answer. Oops. Yeah, rice crackers. Yeah, that would work. That would work for sure. You could even use regular crackers if you didn't have panko. You could probably use regular crackers as well in a pinch. But I mean, the regular recipe does call for panko, and panko is fairly straightforward and easy to find in most places. You don't have to go to really a specialty market. It'll be it's typically like in the sections with the Asian food. So it'll usually be near like the rice noodles and soy sauce, that kind of stuff, in usually that aisle. And yeah, Nadia, I like tempura as well too. I haven't had it in a long time. That's the kind of thing you can't make the same at home. You need the proper deep fryer for sure. That's my water today. What's in everybody else's cup? Anything exciting? Since it is Friday, it's maybe not 5 everywhere yet, but so once everything, this is kind of an easy one too, because once we've mixed it and let it sit, everything's kind of clean. We're going to use the cast iron frying pan on here. So I'm going to start heating this up, and we're going to put on like a medium. Just got it here underneath. We're going to put it on a medium low. This is the kind of thing where you almost have to kind of adjust the temperature as we go a little bit. And that's all right. Coffee, us some more coffee. Yeah, I'm a coffee, but in the morning for sure, us some more. Not at night. I have enough during the day, so we make French press in the morning, and then usually one later on, just kind of midday. So just water for the rest of the night, and water for Nadia. That's okay. And I think if Christine's watching, Christine might be on the patio already, maybe, unless she's setting up her YouTube studio. Because I'm looking forward to seeing what she's done. And I need my spatula. So with the Okonomiyaki, I'm going to make some kind of more little size ones, but you can also make, there's a few you can do, like basically the size that you want. We usually make up a few little ones, but if you wanted to have cover the whole pan, you can definitely do that as well. They'll hold together. You need to be a bit careful flipping it, but you can do the whole thing. I think last time we did it, we did the whole pan as one, which is kind of neat. And then you can cut it into wedges, but we'll do individual sizes. It's probably about, I would say, like a third of a cup size filled and put on there. And then as a garnish, we're going to use the green onions on top. And I've got a little bit of mayonnaise. It's always good with mayonnaise. And I haven't been able to find the Kewpie mayonnaise here. Can't find it anywhere, so we're just going to use regular mayonnaise, which is good. But then you could garnish it with kind of anything you want. We'll put a little bit of cracked pepper on there. I will also put like the onions, some mayonnaise. But you could also put, if you had a little bit of if you wanted a little bit of soy sauce on there, you could put that on there. Sesame seeds is good. You could slice up thin regular onions, kind of whatever topping that you want on top. It's kind of open to that. And then if you want, it's typically like an appetizer, but it would also be good if you had some salmon or something like that on the side. Have some nice like teriyaki salmon or grilled salmon would be really good. Oh, it's raining there. Oh, okay. We had so no patio, sad. We had rain this morning, but it's actually kind of gotten okay now. So It's cooler today though. We've been in a heat wave. It's been like 30. It's been like 30 degrees, but it's finally cooled off a little bit. And for people that are watching in the States, us and more, I think you're in the States, and JNN, I'm not sure. That's like 100 and something, like 100. I think 100 degrees. Like, so it's hot for us here. And no, I have never tried this. Well, Christine, I don't have a waffle iron. I guess that would be the first reason. But it's typically meant just to be fried in a little bit of oil. So, and we'll use got this is some olive oil here. It's nice to use olive oil for the flavor. I would say go for olive oil over a vegetable oil for sure. So you don't need a lot. You just want to brush the pan. You're going to have a fair bit in the bottom of the pan for sure, but we don't need a lot. And then I find it's just easier just to use your hands for the size. Make a little ball, kind of that size, and then into the pan. And you can kind of press it down to patty shape. So I'm going to make 2, and then we'll give it a taste. And pressing it together kind of gets the bread. It gets it all, just makes it hold together. And then just press it down into a patty shape, like so. You just have to kind of wash your hands in between, that's all. But it's easier than trying to fidget with another like scoop or something like that. It's sometimes easier just to use your hands. And then what I find works well is on the outside, you can just kind of use some of the oil just to brush, make sure it's on the sides and getting coated. And then also just drizzle a little bit on top, like so. Okay, so 30 is 92. Okay. So it's hot for us here. And these take, I want to say probably 4 or 5 minutes on each side on medium. So we'll let that go. I'm just gonna, this is where you have to kind of play around a little bit with the heat just to make sure it stays on a nice medium heat. Sometimes, just depending on your stove, I know for the induction one that I have used for the show, it seems like it's either too cold or like it's too hot. You can't adjust it as much with a dial. It's buttons, like, so it's incremental steps, and sometimes it's just a little too hot. And because the cast iron pan retains a lot of heat, you have to kind of sometimes just adjust it down from time to time, I find. There we go. Just sometimes little pieces fall off, and I'm just kind of tucking those back in. So now we just let it sit. Oh yeah, no worries, Christine. Have a good one. I'll keep an eye on your channel, and we'll see you tomorrow. Watch out, just check the channel tomorrow. I'll have another Aero Garden update. So if you want to check in. Take care. Thanks for watching. And after they're done, what we'll do is I'll cook off the entire batch, and we'll eat what we eat for tonight. But then if there's any leftovers, they'll be fine in the fridge, and you can actually have them in the morning. I mean, they're okay actually just out of the fridge cold. Don't mind them, but you can also just heat them up again quickly. And then you just have to turn them over. They'll be a nice golden color. And I noticed on my pan, there's like you can see, there's a spot that is not quite as hot, and I don't know why that is. And you just want to make sure the oil, just can give it a little brush, just with the oil, a little bit. Makes it nice and fries up nice. There we go. So as you can see, we've been going about half an hour. So it's a fairly easy recipe, and you'll be, once you make it, you'll be kind of eating definitely within an hour. So it's a nice easy one. I'm gonna get a bit of mayonnaise just for the garnish, and we're almost out of the mayonnaise. And I also have some chili flakes, which is nice. I kind of like a little bit of spice, which is good on top as well. And it should be it. So you can see the colors going nicely. Oh, Pam, thanks. That's the 50-50 draw. It's like the world. If you're in Alberta, everybody's going crazy over the NHL 50-50. When the team plays, it goes bonkers, and it's like I guess the world record. We've got the last game was world record for the 50-50, and then I guess today it's even higher. So interesting. We'll see who have to win. Someone's going to be lucky. Someone's going to be lucky. All right. So that we're basically done. Let's just double check on the other side. Yeah, you can see a nice color. You want basically that color on both sides. That one I'm going to leave a bit longer. But yeah, that looks good. So we'll get it on a plate and we'll give it a taste. I'll just move this one out of the way. And so simple one. It's good with a little bit of mayonnaise to have with it. Some onion. And some chili. Some chili for a little bit of spice. And there we go. I'll give you let's turn that off. And we gotta get a fork so I can try this. So there we go, Okonomiyaki. Let's see if we can, hopefully you can see that okay. I'll show it on the front view. Japanese pancake. And then, maybe that camera won't show quite as good. It always never wants to focus. There we go. Japanese pancake. Okonomiyaki. Smells good. If you like cabbage, definitely give this one a try. So we'll give it a taste. I know Christine's gone, but I'll let her know it was good. This is, I always like wolf these down. So super easy to make. I like the chili on because it gives a little bit of a bite. The onions as well. It's held together by the eggs and the breadcrumb. So the cabbage is cooked. It's hot all the way through because the egg gets cooked, but the cabbage is still a little bit crunchy, which is good. But super tasty. Good little snack. And like I said, if you don't eat them all, put them in the fridge, and they're great for having in the morning. if you pack them for a lunch or something like that, you can just put them in a Ziploc bag, keep them in the fridge, and they'll be fine. They'll be fine. That's really good. Here we go. Smells good. So yeah, unfortunately we don't have smell-o-vision, not yet, but that's the Okonomiyaki recipe. Thanks everybody for joining. It's always fun to have everybody over for dinner, learn some things. Hopefully you learned something new tonight. And if you haven't tried this recipe yet, it's obviously the second time we've done it, but it's a popular one. We like it, so it's always fun. Hopefully doing the same thing twice is still okay to watch. Because there's a lot of recipes that I've done on the channel. It's always interesting trying to think about what to make, but I think like everybody else, you're always cooking a lot of the same stuff all the time because it's good, right? So this is one of those ones that we like to make quite a bit because it is really tasty. And as you can see, it's super simple. We're basically eating within half an hour, so it's definitely an easy Friday night dinner. And yeah, if the invite is open, but I think it's a bit hard to get here because these will be gone by the time you arrive. So unfortunately, but thanks for joining everybody. We'll leave it at that. If you have suggestions for future meals that you'd like to see, maybe leave me a comment on my channel. Come back to one of the videos and say, hey, have you ever cooked this or cooked that? And I'd be happy to do a demonstration on the channel. I'm also doing my daily AeroGarden update, and we're gonna have herbs pretty soon. So I might jump on and I'll have a video this weekend of that, but I might jump on and do a bit of a live maybe. If I harvest these this weekend, I think I have to do the dill. So might be pick up and do something with that. Maybe something quick for the weekend. But other than that, have a great weekend, everybody. Thanks for joining me. We'll be back for live on the Monday, unless I win the 50-50 and then I'm out of town. You'll never see me again, but we'll see you on Monday. So take care, everybody. Have a good weekend, and we'll see you next time. And on the way out, just don't forget, hit the thumbs up button, and it helps the channel. All right, take care, everybody.